So the whole purpose of today, truthfully, was just to kind of get around together and talk about goals. So Fred and I have been talking a lot about agent attraction, not just the last couple of months. We've been talking about it for a couple of years, right? But truthfully, we've been diving into it more in the last 6 months probably than ever before, and trying to learn well beyond what our natural skill ability is. And part of that was that we've learned from is like, and it's really back to basic business. This is something that we all know about was like, let's just get together and set some goals. We've had conversations probably one-on-one, two-on-one with everybody on this call and so many other people in our group about just different goals when it comes to agent attraction and things like that. And so today, the purpose, my whole goal is in the next 56 minutes is to just kind of spark something in you, maybe help you come up with a goal for 2021. I know for me, that's what I want to get out of this is my 2021 agent attraction goal. And also to just kind of open a dialogue and let you guys know that it doesn't matter if your goal, and we'll talk about that part later, is like to recruit one person and attract one agent to the company next year, or if it's to attract 1,000, it doesn't matter. But I think because we all have this relationship in this community that we can help each other with accountability where we want it. We can help each other with goals, with ideas, things like that. So that's really it, the whole purpose of today. So what I want to do is I'm going to start with somebody who's significantly better than me, and which means they're also better than Fred at speaking, and that's Brent Gove. And I had the opportunity, while we're sort of all like way, way below Brent Gove's his active group. I think Fred might be in a 7th or 8th level, which means everyone else here on this call is effectively not in his levels 1 through 7. I had the opportunity to virtually attend one of his masterminds recently that he did for mostly his direct recruits, like his FLQA. And it was super powerful for me. I got a lot out of it. I want to play about 20 minutes of it for you guys today. And then when that's done, we're going to won't be too much of a hard stop, like too cold, but it'll be a little bit of a cold stop. And then I want to share with you like how you can get those if you want to watch the rest of it. There's a couple hours worth of videos. So I wouldn't even try to get you guys to watch a couple hours of videos with me today on a Zoom. But I would like to share his kind of initial opening with you guys. And then we can talk about some resources that I'll send you guys if you want to use that I'm definitely have adopted that Brent shared at his mastermind. And then if we want to set up anything else or answer questions, Q&A from there, again, we'll make it real quick. So will you cue up the video or say anything else that you want to say?
Yeah, I'm going to say something first. I haven't watched this Brent Gove video, so I get to watch it with you guys for the first time. Kevin's been preparing for this little session here with you guys today. But I want to say that many of you guys know this, but I want you to hear this, like listen in for a second. I think this attraction revenue share opportunity is greater than I ever thought it was going to be 2.5 years ago when we joined EXP.
Yeah.
And whatever opportunity and however big you currently think it is, I would double and triple how big you currently think it is. This company has grown from 3,500 agents in October of 2017. At the end of October 2020, it was over 38,000. It's almost over 40,000. You'll hear an announcement here pretty soon. This company is growing internationally, globally in a huge, huge way, which we can talk about here today if that's something that's on your target list. But what I just want to share with you guys is I appreciate you guys' time to spend an hour with us here this morning, today, this afternoon, depending upon what part of the country you're in. And to say, you know what, I want to put a goal down on paper today. I'm going to actually focus on a number that I'm going to do in agent attraction next year because a lot of us are focused on our sales. If there's one thing that I learned here in 2020, it's that most of you on this particular Zoom and to a little degree, Kevin and I, you got busy selling real estate this year because it was one of the best real estate sales years ever that most of us have had in our career. We were making tons of money selling real estate, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I do love about the revenue share plan, what most of you guys already connect to, is that it's residual, that it shows up month after month, and it compounds in a way that real estate sales will never compound.
And one of the things I'll share with you, it's not going to be in the part of the video we watch together, but I will tell you, like, Brent does go through an exercise in part of these videos where he actually walks you through like a 4 or 5 year progression of not just real estate sales, but also on the attraction side, just to give you perspective of like what's there and what the possibility is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I know it's hard. We start looking at 5-year goals. We start coming up with 5-year goals. And the reality is like we can get wrapped up in those. It's like the Tony Robbins saying, or whoever said it. I don't know who he stole it from or if he said it first, but most people grossly overestimate what they can accomplish in 12 months, but grossly underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 to 10 years. And I think that's so true. And so let's kick it off with Brett, and then let's come back around to like the goal setting. And again, this is not hey, I want everyone to put out this wildly audacious goal around attraction, but anybody on this Zoom, I know I've personally had a conversation with around how it would be nice to have a little bit more rev share than where you're at today. Whether that's one more person, like $1 more, or $1 million more, like it doesn't matter. We all want more. We're all trying to go further in our lives and businesses, and to me, that's what it's really about. So Fred's gonna turn this video on here in 1 second.
It's going to be a little awkward stop when it stops because it's Brent Gove. He just keeps talking. So we're going to do about 20 minutes of this, and then we got a little exercise we'll do to finish up at the top of the hour. So here we go. Can you guys see the screen? Everybody see Brett?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go.
37, 42, 109, 260, just and then, there's, I think, 1,400 people in the auditorium. I said, okay, everyone, that was 5 years ago. Everyone now write down what that pays you today. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And I said, okay, so you could go from 40 to 80, but it pays you 0 5 years later. It doesn't matter how many homes you sell in 2021. It really doesn't. Because I've been at this for 25 years. This is my 25th year. And it's great, and it's all we knew. But what if you could do that agent attraction part? It's like anything you've ever set your mind to. When you say, dang it, I'm going to figure this thing out, or I'm going to kill someone. I'm going to hurt somebody or hurt something, I don't know if anybody ever been there. And anything you've ever set your mind to, you've done. And I love what Don Yoakum teaches. He's not in the room, but he says, do things you can control. I opened the cap and never had a drink. That's funny. Yeah. The Russians, vodka. Anyways, so what's in your control? It's not in your control whose timing is right, whose gate is right. I showed it to Curtis Johnson. He said no. I showed it to Jay Kinder. He said no. I showed this to many people. I have a whole list, and right now I'm just drawing a total blank, who said no and ended up coming in. Sean Works said no, right? Frank Valente over there, wait, Frank said no. And so, but what I didn't do is I didn't wait. I didn't say it doesn't work. I kept going. And then as I kept going and they'd see more signs up, they're like, well, maybe, how's that work? And then they said, yes, your job is to keep going. And so you can only control what you could control. What you could control is talking to 2 people a day or 3 people a day or 4. It doesn't matter whether they're interested, whether they're kind to you or nice to you. It's all timing. And so guess what? You can do 2 a day. That's 10 a week. That's 40 a month. And out of 40 a month, people will join you at EXP. So quit being worried about, but I showed it to 10 and they said no. 2 a day, 10 a week, 40 a month. And then out of 40, you're going to start sign up 2 or 3 people a month. How many is that a year? 24 to 36 in a year. And then what's going to happen is out of 10, you're going to get 2 that'll take off. That's the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, right? 80-20 rule. And you get to 20, you'll have 4 legs that are starting to show some life. What about the other 16? They're enjoying the 80-20 split. They're trying to go for icon. They're thinking it's kind of cool. They got some soccer awards. They're just doing whatever they're doing, right? And then all of a sudden, you get to 30. Now you got 6 legs. You get to 40, you'll have 8, which is 80-20. What about the other 32? Love them, help them. When they're ready, they're ready. Some of you are at that other 32 and you're here today, but you know you're ready. You know you're ready to do this. Because the definition of madness is doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result. And so someone asked me today, hey, how'd your prospecting go yesterday? I go, I didn't do it. I thought you prospect every Friday from 2 to 5. Yeah, I did 4 years ago. It's a one-time thing. This is a finish line deal. You really can get to 40. Have you done 40? No, I did 10. I did 15. What got you to wherever you are was sponsoring people. That's what got you to where you are. What'll get you beyond is sponsoring people. It's cooking with gas. It's throwing gasoline on the fire. It'll cure any problem you have. Because when you put new people next to your old people and the new people are excited and good doing it, it takes away the excuses of your old dogs, you know? And then you sponsor just naturally. I think in the last month we did 4 maybe. I did 4. I'm not even trying anymore. I did 4 personals. Chris Carter's one of them from Southern California. How long you been with EXP now, Chris? Yeah, I'm like, get on a plane, get to Reno, rent a car, come to Tahoe. I said, you don't need 2-wheel drive. I was wrong. And so all that. So here's the bottom line. You have reason to be very excited. There are 38,000 of us. There's over 2.3 million licensed people throughout North America. There are people that are whales in other industries that aren't even thinking about real estate. I didn't even cross my mind till I was 30. Look for whales in other industries. Show them the model explained. They will say to you, like Vincent St. Louis, who had to run to Utah to pick up family on an emergency run. He's okay. They're okay. Vincent would have loved to have been here today, but he goes, can I get my license? And now he's got like 140 people. Guess how many people Vincent's going to have in South Africa at the end of this 2021? I would say conservatively 600 or 700 just in South Africa, Vincent. And that's all coming in on his level 3, my level 4. And you think, are you thinking about Mumbai? You should. Are you thinking about Portugal and France? Are you thinking about Paris? There's real estate agents there. I always thought I had like 35 agents in the UK, and I do in my 7 levels. But one of my agents, Bill Price, how many does Bill have in the UK? In the UK. And so that's in my business, but they're below my 7 levels. And by the way, it does benefit you to have people on levels 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because they make the company more valuable, which makes our stock. Everyone raise your hand if you have stock. Everyone. The whole room. It makes your stock more valuable. And you think, yeah, but it's dipped down in the 40s. Yep, and I bought last week and I bought this week because I know the value of EXP in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be astronomical. We are going to be a Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Zillow. We're going to be that special story, and we're in real estate. So if we don't sell little $1,200 play phones, we sell $500,000 homes, and the volume and the revenue share. And then when we figure out mortgage, and I know what's going on in the mortgage piece, we're just about to crack the code on mortgage. There's 4 times the money in mortgage. The revenue share that comes after the mortgage is literally, they're doing, I think, 3 times, like the 2,800, multiply it times 3. And then you think, well, you could tell I actually made a list of mortgage people I know just for fun that actually really know pretty well. I actually made a list, and it shocked me how many people that would definitely take a meeting with me. And by the way, I'm a real estate agent. And by the way, I can refer them loans. Do you think they want to meet with me? And then escrow. Do you know that in escrow, there's 5 times the money in real estate in escrow. There's more money in escrow and title than in mortgage. Mortgage has a lot of overhead and production and things that go into running it. Escrow and title, you ever see the escrow officer? Once you really get used to them, your clients come in, the notary goes, boop, boop, boop. They walk in, oh, hi, nice, they glad hand them, they go back. There's 5 times the money in escrow. And guess what? We are cracking the code. I think in 2021, I have been in the back meetings. I know what's happening. And when those 2 things hit, our stock at $40-something a share is going to look like they were giving it away. So you are not too late. You did not miss the boat. And here's what they said 4 years ago. Well, EXP will never work. No one's ever heard of it. Today they say, they, who knows everything, EXP will never work. Everybody's heard of it. First it would not work because nobody's heard of it. Then it'll work. You know what? I got to Keller Williams 25 years after they started. And I was so pumped and excited. People talk to me about my gate was not open for 10 years. I'm not a bad, evil person. You are not a bad, evil. Sean Work might be evil, but here's the deal. He said no for 2 or 3 years. He's not a bad, evil person. Tom Dave's another holdout, right? How many years did you pass on EXP? 2 years? 2 years. Yeah, you didn't wait. You were just happy. There was no need. And then some things happened and some honest discussions happened. Yeah, there you go. When Keller Williams came to me in '04 and I'm selling 345 homes and making millions of dollars, like 2.7 million that year in gross commission, I go, I really don't care about this $27,000 cap they're trying to, and this whatever. And it didn't interest me. So there are people that will come, and guess what? Now we're getting credibility. Now we aren't this penny stock or a NASDAQ stock. And as we grow, and we're going to open Mexico this next week, or in 2 weeks. India opens this week. I thought they opened Tuesday. I actually met with the people, and India opens next week. We're going to open France and Portugal. Your businesses will be there, I promise you, if you have the guts to get the 40. And the way you do it is you just do 2 a day. You can look up and go up there or not. No. You control what you can control. You prospect so many. I chose to do it all in one day on Fridays. And then I was kind of hit when the opportunity presented itself. I present the opportunity during the week. But for me, I'm a very compartmentalized guy for a crazy sanguine. So I did what worked for me. I love the Fridays 2 to 5. Other people love that 2, 10, 42 a day, 10 a week, 40 people a month with a 4-week month. You're like, well, I want more, then do more. Nobody said you can't do 4 a day. Oh, it takes so much time. No, what it takes is courage. It doesn't take time, doesn't take money. It takes courage. It takes you quit caring about what people think about your ego. Well, they may be mine of you. They say, if I hear from one more EXP agent, you know what, Rick Jiha? Where's Rick Jiha? Rick's in the back. Well, Rick goes, dude, I've heard about this 10 times. That was 4 years ago. And so, yes. And I go, really, what do you know? And he says, well, there's stock, there's rev share, blah, 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 blah. And Gene Frederick, he's my best friend, you know? And that's kind of what he said. I'm making fun of him now, right? But that's what it's telling me. And I'm like, okay. I go, so you saw the plan. I didn't just say, okay, bye. Sorry to bother you, Rick. And I said, so you saw the plan. How to make $2.1 million a year outside of real estate in the next 5 years. And you're not interested? I mean, be incredulous with people. And they're like, well, he goes, what'd you say when I said that to you? He's so soft-spoken. Don't you love him? I just want to hug you from here. Who wants to have hot chocolate with Rick? Is it just me? It's kind of weird. I don't know what that is. He's also the world's most interesting man. Go ahead. I interrupted. You were saying, have you seen the webinar? Incredulously, right? Yeah. You haven't seen, you're saying you know something you don't even know? Because as your friend, I can't let you do that. When can you give me 30? I thought I gave it a slum mom. No, you made me meet you Sunday morning at 8 a.m. What a jerk. So I was on with him because B. Gove knows how to sell. Do you know how to sell? Let me give you the notes. I want you to write this down, okay? And then we're gonna get kind of dive into this. This is just kind of the chum and warm you up part. You like it so far? Yeah. So here are the results. If you will, by the way, how many of you email your listing appointment, then call them, did I get the listing? Anybody do that? I guarantee you're not a big time listing agent unless you're so successful. When they get to that point, sometimes they do. But most of us do what? Drive across town, 30, 40 minutes away in traffic, spend an hour, maybe 2, maybe 40 minutes if you're fast, and walk out there with the sign, then drive 30, 40 minutes back home, all for something that is fleeting. Everyone write down the word fleeting. I don't care how many homes you sold last year, you don't get paid a dime for it this year. Write down this ROI. ROI on selling real estate is terrible. It is a 0.0 return. You get paid once, you work 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, some of you work 7 days a week. Luann Chicasso I love her, but she works 7 days a week, 80 hours a week. It's all she can do. And she sells 70 homes a year. She's got 1.2 million in stock. She hasn't totally messed it up, okay? But she's so busy selling, she works all the time. But all that 70, 80 hours a week she did last year, it gives her nothing this year unless she continues to dump in the 70, 80 a week. You guys with me? And so here's what it's like. If you will take the time to do a listing presentation properly to another agent or broker, because you're listing agents and brokers. So I need you to do what I did. I didn't say, hey, Rick, watch this. I'll call you. I said, let's set up a time, because he was 2 hours away in the Bay Area. And so we set up a time. I'll be on with you. And then we watched it. And then at the end, I go, do you have any questions? And he goes, and he just said, I'm in. There's just no questions once he understood it. And so people are going to drag you to their side of the fence. It's a pyramid. It's a scam. You're just trying to make money off your friends. You know, their negative, ugly side of life. Or you're going to just be incredulous and you're like, Mike, you're way too smart with this. I promise you, you'd get to watch it. If you had watched it, you'd be excited right now. You may have watched it while texting. You may have watched it while emailing. You may have watched it and your kids came in. Something distracted you. You're way too smart for this. Now, last week, someone said, no, I watched it twice. I said, all right, have a good day. Boom. You know, but usually it is. So it doesn't always work. But I cannot tell you how many times people said, oh my gosh, how'd you know? Because you're brilliant. And you're just saying, oh yeah, I watched it. I don't think I'm interested. It's not for me at this time. I go, no. You didn't watch it. This is a mic drop in the real estate world. This is a seismic shift. When if your travel agent had known that Travelocity and cruises.com and hotels.com and everything was going online, and would they have signed a lease for 10 years on a building at $20,000 a month? Would they have signed that lease if they'd have known? If Yellow Cab was just bought all these more Yellow Cabs if they'd known Uber and Lyft were coming. Listen to me. You know we're coming, but you need to activate your faith. You need to activate your action and do what made you successful in real estate. What made you successful in real estate? You do what needed to be done, when it needed to be done, whether you felt like it or not. I feel like I'm doing a Rick Cheehaw talk. But here's the deal. You need to suck it up, and you can't be a thermometer. Here's a thermometer. It goes up and down with this environment. Oh, how hot is it? It's 103. How hot is it? It's 33 degrees. It's almost freezing. Did we wrap the pipes? It goes up and down with temperature. Have you been guilty of going up and down with your environment? Or you need to be the thermostat. You just set that thing. And guess what? You just, because here we've all seen this, and it's so true, the life of a real estate agent. I'm excited, I'm depressed. I'm excited, I'm depressed. I'm excited, I'm depressed. I'm excited. When Joe and Marguerite built that beautiful franchise with multiple offices and had 110, 120 agents, and they're on a roll, I went to those parties. I was their guest. I spoke in her offices, and she was excited. And then Realty One came in and took 35 of her best producers overnight to I'm depressed. And then I'll never, ever do another company again. And then when I showed her the model, explained in my office with her, because I don't email my listing presentation, because I go the extra at 8 in the morning. Everything's 8 in the morning. Randy Bird was 6:30 in the morning. I did it in bed. I go, sorry, babe, I got to do this. We hit play. I muted the phone. I went back to sleep for 30 minutes. Never got out of bed. Randy Bird has almost 400 people now. Do it in bed. No, I'm kidding. All right, now. So I don't care how you do it as long as everybody's agreeable. This is all coming out wrong. Now, so here's the deal. Okay, thank you. I'm doing great. See, I'm doing great. So
All right, who wants to watch more? I do. Darn, Kevin said we had to stop.
Don't listen to Kevin. Don't listen to Kevin. Put it back on.
So
Can you
honestly,
send that to us?
we could. Like, he's way better. He's way better at anything than the two of us are, or anybody else really in this group. But I want to give you guys a taste of that, because I want you to see what is available. Fred's going to put a link here into the chat on Zoom. And we could also put this up other places. I'm probably not going to go post it in the group, at least not without getting Brent's permission first. But what I will do is give you guys this direct link. What's on here is the rest of that talk. It goes for about another hour. There's a talk from someone else. It's actually, he referred to an agent there. Not everyone here knows Rick Cheehaw. But for those of you who do, you know Rick. And then you know that he's got a wife named Casey, who actually has a huge business in New Skin, which is a multi-level marketing company. And she's done great. I haven't watched her talk yet, but she does a talk there, and she's like, she understands selling and recruiting at a high level. And then Brent does a third session. And part of that with the third session, I guess it's partly on the first and the third session, is on the links with the videos. There's also a link to download different resources, which I want to kind of show you guys. We'll show you some of them today. fact, maybe we could pull some up on the screen too. So
So
that way you'll have the ability to just download those links right away, save them off, print them, and then you got them to refer to, not just for yourself, but hopefully for other people in your group, right? Because hopefully you just picked up, if like you're going to go and sponsor some people, whether it's one person next year or 100, but if your group's going to really blow up, it's going to be other people who are also going to do the same, right? At least I think he said 2 out of 10 people will actually go build something too. And so you'll want to be able to share these with those people.
okay, so in the chat box, the first link I copied and pasted is directly to the resources that Kevin's going to go through here in a second. And the second link is to all the videos and all the resources of this entire Tahoe mastermind that he just conducted in the last month or so.
So before I go through the resources, Eric Lowry, thanks for being the teacher of the moment. Obviously, you thought it was good. I'd love to take a couple ahas. I'm happy to share with you guys a couple of my ahas too, but I'd love to hear anybody, if you've got an aha that you took from that video, please share.
So I will throw you one. It's not very mind-bending or anything, but this year he was talking about, or maybe one of you guys said it, maybe, I don't know, but we've been super busy selling houses, right? I've been super busy not selling houses, but growing my team that sells houses, and that's awesome. But I actually thought about this last week where we hired another agent. We're opening another little market for us outside of Cincinnati this week. And that's all been awesome. But I've got 14 frontline people, not all FLQAs or something yet, which on the surface of it, you go, shit, that's not bad 10 months later, but none of it's outside of my team. And so my aha is I need to get my ass in gear on doing both, not one or the other. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
I love that comment that Brett said, which is like you could sell 70 houses, or in your case, Eric, 200, 250 houses this year, but how much are you going to make on those next year? Now, granted, you do some stuff with your past clients and referrals, and you got agents on your team that are going to show up, right? But
it's not the same.
It's not the same. No, it does. Those checks don't cash the same year over year. You got to go back out. You got to sell a house. We always say, right? As a real estate agent, you wake up every day unemployed. I mean, that's just something I've always told our team. You wake up every day unemployed. You got to go back out and sell another house. And all of you on here, you're already selling your houses, so keep selling them. But what if you could wake up and have some unemployment income coming in, aka revenue share?
Yeah, Gina shared a great in the chat box there. So duplication is key to your success. Your recruits need to be able to do what you do easily and confidently. I love that you added easily and confidently. And sorry, I just wanted to share that real quick. But to go back to what you said. So one of the parts of this video, I want to say it's here on this first link. I watched them both a couple of times, so it's like one long video in my head now. He actually walks through a business plan for 2021 where he talks about listings and buyers as well as direct recruits and like total group. And I would really encourage you, if you watch nothing else in these videos, I'm pretty sure it's on link 1 about an hour in. I would encourage you, if you watch nothing else, watch him walk through that exercise because the example he gives is pretty damn attainable for anybody. He's not talking about not selling real estate. He's talking about doing what you do and then having the goal for attraction, and then watch what happens when you do that again the second year. And he just draws out the numbers and to illustrate it for you, because it can be really eye-opening when you realize, like the example he gives is he's using a $10,000 average commission. Your commission may or may not be that. But the example he gave is the agent does 20 deals, 10 buyers, 10 sellers. It's $200,000 a year. And the example he gave with the rev share, the first year, it wasn't a ton. It might've been like 30 or 40,000 if they, that would be like fully paid if they met their goals, which I want to say was like 10 directs and 60 in the group total. But the thing is, on year 2, you go out and do the same thing. Now, by the end of year 2, that's paying you over $130,000 a year. That's damn near what the business is paying you from selling real estate, right? And then you look at year 3, and he just does a really good job of lining that out over a 4 and 5 year period. I think sometimes it's nice to have that refresher of, I know we all have a ton of shit right in front of us that we need to get done right now, and we all do that. And also some things are more important. They don't feel as important because they're actually 5 years out from now. And a lot of this is really 5 years out from now, truthfully. So I really encourage you guys to watch that.
So I got to get my 2 ahas out, and then somebody else can jump in. But my first aha was that Brent Gove, even where he's at today, is sitting down and watching his 37-minute video, the Model Explain video. It's 37 minutes and change long. He's sitting down and watching it with people. That's my first aha, right? And he actually said, how many of you take a listing and just send over the listing paperwork and expect them to send it back, right? And it's just a great analogy for hoping that we're going to get business. So he's investing time into it. But 37 minutes is probably, below average of the time you spend round trip going to a listing appointment, coming back. I'll just say that, not even at the actual appointment. And then the second thing I heard, and this is one that I got to put into action right away, is that, no, Kevin, you're way too smart. Like, there's no way you watch. I promise you didn't watch that video, right? Like, you probably got distracted. You were probably on Twitter and Instagram, because I know you probably sending some Snapchats to your niece, right? There's no way you sat down and watched that entire video all the way through undistracted. Because if you had seen that you were going to make $2+ million over the next 5 years, there's no way you'd be turning me down right now. So I think that's that pattern interrupt. Adam, you're really good at this in your listing presentations, like literally interrupting the pattern and saying, no, there's no way you watch that. If you did, you'd be freaking excited right now. You'd be asking me how to join.
How do they get to that number, the 2 point whatever million?
Yeah, so you've got the links now. I would suggest go back in and watch it. It was just a number that he had talked about.
It's a pattern interrupt number, basically. I mean, I'm sure you can get to that math with X number of people, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
But the Model Explain doesn't go into that number, does it?
No. This particular video, which Adam, I know you weren't here right at when we first kicked off. This was from a mastermind Brent did last month. You can tell because he was talking about the stock being all the way down to like $40.
No, I saw the whole video. I just had my face off of it because I was doing other stuff. But yeah, no, that was good. The other thing I got from it was the consistency. So I have my real estate business is up 90% this year. I mean, I don't have a big team. I just have a couple of admins and whatnot. But I mean, I'll do 30+ million, just me. And I'm so busy and I'm making a fortune. But I want to, and I intend to grow this piece of my business. And I honestly have put very little time into it, and I'm having some success already with very little effort. And so, yeah. So what's fun, I'll tell you a personal story. So I hurt my neck, some stupid thing, getting out of bed or something. And I'm rehabbing my neck. And what I learned was if I want to fix myself, I have to exercise twice a day and I get better. If I don't, I re-injure myself. And so, I just decided my personal trainer just kept laughing at me. He's like, you're back. And I said, okay, you know what? I am going to do this. And so I started exercising 10 minutes a day, twice a day. I fixed my neck. My neck's better, and it's not that hard. I think it's kind of similar with agents I like the idea of call 2 people a day. To me, I could do that. That sounds like a plan I could follow.
Love it, dude. Love it. Andrew, how about you, man? You're already like wildly successful at revenue share, but I also know that you want to do more next year. Anything jump out at you? I mean, you've heard a lot of this type of talk, but anything stick out at you this time around?
Yeah, I mean, I think what sort of similar to Adam's theme is we hadn't really systemized anything, and we haven't, set a schedule and sort of had goals. And so in the last month, me and my partners, we have a sitting call every Tuesday at 8:30, just rev share talk. And so we've started to do, a certain amount of people we reach out to. And we have an enormous amount of momentum, best momentum we've ever had. And I think to Adam's point, it's really not hard. If you get someone that's willing to listen and you put the video in front of them, you should be able to convert a high number of them. But I think where most people fail is the people that are producing, they're not time blocking their calendar. And we lost a lot of momentum ourselves. And so I think the biggest takeaway for me is what he was talking about. Is just it's not about time; it's about courage. And if you just sit down and do it, you will have success. But if you just keep telling yourself, "Oh yeah, I'll get to it eventually," then it's never going to be important enough for you to get done. And so we time block our calendar, and we have the most momentum we've ever had. So
yeah, I mean, I know because we've been able to be part of some of your conversations. You guys are absolutely building some serious momentum. It's crazy to watch. It's fun. It's easy to see from even on the outside how much more focused on this you guys have gotten, Andrew. And it's true for us. You and I were talking about with Curtis Johnson yesterday, our sponsor. For those of you who don't know, I'll share it with you because it was so impactful, I think, for the both of us. But a couple months ago, Curtis came over to our office. We were hanging out. We went to go get lunch. And he kind of like gave us a talking to in a way, like when we asked him to, like we were talking about RevShare, and we were just trying to pick his brain. And there was a spark that came out of it that for us today, I mean, heck, we have one of the biggest calls we've ever had today with a recruit and Dave Kennord, one of the presidents of the company, right? That literally sparked because I sent a message that day at lunch with Curtis because Curtis really got to us that day for whatever reason. We were just open, willing to learn, willing to be wrong, willing to focus like we haven't done before. And so I can tell you, for us too, even refocusing in, because there's been a lot of other crap going on this year to focus on for all of us, whether it's because of good stuff with all the business that we've got or just dealing with the 2020 stuff, right? There's other things we could focus on, but we definitely honed in on this piece of our business in the last like 3 months, and it's paying off in a big way. And it's cool to see that's happening for you too, Andrew. And I just only use us as an example to say it's true. It's working for Andrew and his partners. It's working for myself and Fred. It could work for anybody who puts in that level of focus.
Yeah, but we treat it as a business, and so if we have an LLC set up, we run expenses through it, and so if you just see this as an opportunity that hey, it could pay a little bit on the side, and you don't treat it as you do your real estate business, then it's going to be tough because especially with the people that I know on this call, there's a lot of homes being sold. Everyone I know here is a good producer that I know. I don't know everyone on the call, but I think the issue is that if you don't have the same sort of systems or lead generation or planning, your business will never take off. And I think it's hard when you have another business, but for us, it's all about a calendar. So that's Adam, the amount of houses you're selling, you're talking to a lot of realtors already. And so, I think you can just have those conversations. We were talking to people all the time and never bringing up this opportunity. And we just said, why? We're afraid they turn us down. Who cares? So.
Very true. Thanks, Andrew. All right, I'm getting a couple things in the chat box, both privately and in the general comments. So I'm going to show a couple things. First off, this is the model explained video. So I put the link in the URL. If you have not watched this, you should sit down and allocate 37.5 minutes and watch this today. The model explained video right here. Secondly, if you have not taken agent attraction training, you can go to agentattractiontraining.com. This is provided by Jay Kinder and Michael Reese. And I know there's probably at least half of you on the call today that have not done this. So if you're looking for what's the step, what's the playbook, how do I do this, what does that look like, then go to Agent Attraction Training. I want to make sure I mention that. Also, I'm going to go to another link here. I want to make sure you guys know in our Kevin and Fred workplace community, we have some inside workplace right now. Hopefully most of you guys know what that is. Inside the workplace community, we have this agent attraction book, and you can download that. At the very top here is the most recent updated version, just got updated about a month ago. So this is also has a ton of different, This has a ton of different resources and links and stuff like that you guys can check out. So I want to make sure you guys know that that's there as well. Inside this book, it actually links. I'm going to go all the way to the very end for you guys. It actually links to Jay Kinder, Michael Reese's Agent Attraction Training. It links to all of Brent Gove's stuff. It links to all of Kevin and my stuff. So these are different resources. So if you've not gone through this book, or maybe you, I'm going to say maybe you saw it one time, but you also got distracted and didn't read through it, this is a great read. It goes through creating a wealth chart, which Brent Gove goes through as well. So make sure you check that out. And then The other thing I want to share with you is on the very first link that I put in this group, it's the little bit.ly link or whatever, is a PowerPoint presentation. And that PowerPoint presentation is from Brent Gove's Tahoe Mastermind. And so, sorry, I'm trying to get all my screens here. I'm sharing all kinds of different stuff. So this is Brent Gove's Tahoe Mastermind, right? So can I not see that? Hold on. All right, you guys seen that? So this goes through and shows his Tahoe Mastermind. So this is where he goes through, Adam or somebody asked the question of like, well, how did he get to 2.1 million? So if you watch the videos as well as have this PowerPoint up, I'm not going to go through the example because of time right now, but he goes through and he kind of shares what it looks like to sponsor different people and how those groups grow. And this is using some of the average stuff. And then he goes through the freedom date, right, Kevin, which is the idea of like, what does it look like? At what point do you not have to sell real estate? You're never going to hear Kevin and I say, don't sell real estate.
I'll never say that.
I'm not going to say that. But at what point do you not have to sell real estate? That's a different type of mindset, right? Like people, a lot of times people define retirement as not having to go to work. It doesn't mean that you don't work, but at what point do you not have to sell real estate, right? So he goes through this, this freedom date. So, and Adam, back to your point here, this is where he got the 2.2 million or whatever I said, 2.1, which is like what this looks like over 5 years building out correctly. So do you want to go through some of this stuff? Is this?
Yeah. So a couple things I want to add, and then we'll wrap up because I promised an hour or less, and we'll keep that out. We'll keep that promise. So number one, like I could already see, like as Fred just popped like 4 resources in front of you. I get it. If you haven't reviewed it, you're probably doing the same thing the first time you saw it, which is like, oh man, there's a lot of stuff here to review. There is. What I would like to encourage you to do is something my coach always has encouraged us to do, which is schedule the time for when you're going to schedule it. So I'm not saying stop and read all this stuff right now. Fred's not saying that. What I will encourage you to do before you go to your next task today, schedule a time for you to be able to start to review this stuff. I think of reviewing this stuff, and I've started to take it a whole lot more seriously than I ever have, as like, it's like if I'm going to go to a listing appointment, I'm going to do a CMA. I'm actually going to call the client, and I've got a script and dialogue that I go through before I do the appointment to qualify the appointment, right? So I'm doing homework before I even go to my listing appointment. So understand this is a couple step process, and it's no different here. So for sure, if you're starting to feel like, oh man, the attraction training and then the links to the videos, it's a lot, cool. Bookmark it, schedule a time, 30 minutes or 1 hour this week, and then do 30 minutes or 1 hour next week and just review the stuff, but keep your promise to yourself in your schedule that you're going to review it. So that way you can start to chunk this down, right? And you can start to take this on, because it is a lot. Nobody gets this stuff overnight. One of the things I wanted to go through really is like this slide right here, because a lot of us will have, like, I know for me, like I'm thinking like, oh man, who else could I be reaching out to, or who should I reach out to? So this like list of names tool that Brent gives, and again, it's for download, just takes you through memory jog right here. 10 whales. So he's defining a whale as someone who sells at least 50 homes a year. Maybe they sell 7. Like Andrew, you're not even in Brent's like universe of what sells a lot of real estate.
Andrew is like 3 whales.
Because you're like you're literally double the top end of a whale. Or a solid producer, 16 to 50 transactions a year. 10 newer agents, right? So they're selling 1 to 15 homes a year. 10 people who are in the process of getting licensed. I love this one. I highlighted, this was my aha during this 20-minute session, was 10 whales in other careers. 10 people not in real estate who, if they watch the model explain, they might see it and go, I'll get licensed for that opportunity. Okay, 10 referral partners, 10 relatives, 10 friends, 10 ex-coworkers, college or childhood friends, people you do business with, independent brokers you might know. So this is kind of like, you've probably seen it when you have a list to jog yourself for like your sphere of influence. This is that for agents. So this will help you take away that limiting belief of I don't know enough people or I don't know who to talk to. You can fill out this list. Maybe this is a 30-minute session you work on one day, or an hour session you work on one day, and then you refer back to it when you're making your 2 or 3 phone calls a day.
I'll just mention too that this type of list is also in the agentattractiontraining.com that Jake Hinder and Michael Reese do as well. So you've got multiple lists you can kind of cross-reference.
Yeah. Couple of the other things he goes through, and again, I will encourage you to watch his videos because Brent's going to do it so much more service than we will. but he's got guest lists, right? So he talks about creating community. We just saw him doing that in action. We're doing that here. It's a little bit smaller and it's a little bit different, but it's creating community. So it's going to lunch with people. It is having an event. Like he had an event with his top frontline recruits or his FLQA there. That's the video we were just watching. Doing things like that a certain number of times every year to create community amongst the people in your tribe. And it doesn't matter if right now you're the only person in your tribe. Soon there'll be 2. Create the community there. And when it's 5, keep creating the community, and it'll continue to grow. So he talks about like what are events you could do. And I haven't written this down. Like Fred and I always plan events, so we're always thinking about events. However, like I got to tell you, like another thing I'm taking away is like, okay, what are the 5 events? Like I'm actually going to put it on paper, even though a lot of stuff always resides in our calendar. Who are the people I'm going to make sure we're having lunch or dinner with regularly in 2021, right?
And for a couple of you out there, I'm going to say something that may shock you, but I'm going to suggest that some of you guys might get on an airplane and go break bread with somebody in 2021 because the world is so weird right now and you have a relationship with them, but getting face to face with them matters. Kevin and I flew up to the Northwest a couple of months ago. Kevin and I had a trip planned this coming Monday, actually, to go to Northern California that just got postponed. But I'm telling you that, I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm letting you know that even though it's a weird world right now, we've still scheduled and booked 2 plane tickets in the last 2 months to get and go break bread with people that we want to get closer in relationship with who are key leaders. So that could be in your own backyard. For a couple of you guys, that could be getting on a plane and going and spending a night somewhere and going and building some more relationship with folks.
Yeah, and by all means, like, think about your guest list. He does a great job in talking about events. Now, he's putting on an event in Cabo. I'm not confident events are going to happen the first part of the year. Brent is always a go guy. So, hey, great. It doesn't matter if it's that event or another one. Have a guest list and bring people. I mean, he really goes into treating this like a business and literally offering to pay for people's rooms. Things like that, whatever you got to do to get people to an event.
He's supposed to have his Dallas event with Tony Robbins again next August. I think that one actually is a little more realistic.
So
That's a big event. That could be thousands and thousands of people. So all these events I'm mentioning right now, you can go to brentgove.com or brentgoveresources.com. Both of those URLs, I believe, will take you to the same place now. But you can find out information on all these events. Kevin and I will also be hosting some events in 2021 that you'll learn about. And I'm just letting you know these are different events that you can invite people to.
Yeah. And like, I would encourage you, we don't need to go through all these because a lot of this he's going to go through in the video will provide more context, or the videos, I should say. So you could probably turn off the sharing. The one last thing I'll say, like that we didn't put up there is like, there's a wealth chart in there. Again, we're not going to go through that today, but I'm encouraging you to put that on your list of things to do as well. And of course, walk through the what is your freedom date, and let Brent Gove walk you through the formula as well for that. So lots of resources here. Again, chunk it down, guys. Go back, watch these at least the 2 videos, session 1 and session 3 that Brent does. If you really like it, dive in. I know Casey, she's brilliant. She knows how to build a business. Watch her session as well. Download the links. And with the last 10 minutes, I'd like to just say, hey, if you haven't yet, if you're not thinking of it, like maybe let's take a few minutes and write down what our goals are for 2021 when it comes to attraction. And I want to be really clear. I don't care if your number is 1 or if it's 100. Just write it down. Write down how many are you going to attract personally? Like, what's that goal? And then what do you think your group can grow to? I'll give you a hint. If you like a shortcut, Brent's numbers were if you have for every 1 over the course of a year, that should bring back 6. You might want to use 4. You might want to use 10. It doesn't matter. But he's saying if you influence, recruit, direct 10 people, 10 direct recruits in your revenue share group, that should turn into 60 people over the course of 12 months, right? For planning purposes, I think that's a pretty safe number. So my question to you is, how many people will you directly influence next year? And then pick a number, whether it's 6 or 4, multiply it and go, and that's the size of my group by this time next year as well.
Yeah, I'm going to put Kevin and my cell phones numbers in here. The reason I'm going to do that is I want to encourage you guys, like, he really wants you to write it down. Why do we want you to write it down? Because there's power in just making a commitment, right? Now, Kevin and I aren't going to sit there and call you every day of the week and ask you how you're doing, but we are here to support you. So if you'd like to take us up on the opportunity to text us later today, send a group text to both of us and say, hey guys, this is my direct FLA, right? My frontline agents that I'm going to bring in next year. And I anticipate that my group growth size will grow to this number if I bring in that many people. So send us that text if you guys would like today. And also let us know how we can support you. If you're putting a goal out there, we want to get behind you and support you. And there's probably some ways we can do that. One thing I want to mention on like supporting people is that you guys got to stop recruiting on your own. You got to stop recruiting on your own. This is not a one-person sport. I mean, Kevin, how often do you just recruit somebody and I never talk to them?
Never. Even the people that I talked to, like somebody joined yesterday, I literally she raised her hand one day on a Facebook post, and then we connected. She happened to come to the Model Explain presentation I was doing that day or the next day, and then she said, okay, I'm in. But I mean, you still talk to her, right? You still like
because I'm in took 4 weeks to get her across the finish line, exactly. And so I continue to follow up, talking to her, making sure she got
nobody moves as fast as she does. Nobody does. No, it's always multiple steps, guys. No. And so, for sure, get people involved.
I mean, Andrew, you're awesome. I know you don't need us, and I don't need you, and I don't need Curtis. But at the end of the day, isn't recruiting a little more fun and even a little easier when we all get on a Zoom and are talking to a potential team or prospect together?
Yeah, and we've started doing that. And Sonnet, we had a big meeting the other day they brought me in for. So it's just different perspectives and different connections. And it's not that we can't do it, but just power in numbers.
And if I could too, like, let me give you guys, let me just say this, because it's going to help you when you do that. When you bring an Andrew Franklin on, or you bring in Eric Lowry or somebody or you bring in us, doesn't matter who you're bringing in. The one thing that I think that you can do that will set you up for success on that call is, number one, I always make it seem like it's a big deal just to get on that person's calendar. Like last week with Curtis, and if you know my relationship with Curtis, I give him the hardest time possible. I don't let him get away with anything, right? And I told my friend who is really close to coming, I said, listen, man, Curtis Johnson is, he's grown this to over 3,000 people. I think I could probably get on his calendar next week for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes. If I can do that for you, because I can see that you're interested, would you be agreeable to do that? He's like, yeah. So like, I'm letting him know like Curtis is a big deal. And then when we start that call, I'm telling him every great thing that I think about Curtis, not in a 10-minute sermon, but in a 2-minute elevator speech. Hey, here's why I want you to talk to Curtis, because he's done boom, 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 boom. And then I just shut up and let Curtis do his thing, right? And so whether you're asking your friend next door, somebody else on your team, somebody in your upline, doesn't matter, or even someone who's not in your upline that's doing you a favor. By the way, I'm guessing everybody in this group would do somebody else a favor in this group. Like, make sure you're really edifying that person. So that way the person coming in goes, oh, okay, cool. This person is coming here. Like, I'm special because they've made time. This important person made time for me. Not because we're important, because we want the person to feel that they're important.
It's edification. That's all it is.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Closing questions, comments. Anybody written down a number? You don't have to share it with the group. Has anybody written down a number?
I have.
Okay. How about a moment of silence? We'll all write down a number then. How about that?
And feel free to text it to myself or Fred or both of us if you'd like. And I'll text you back mine, and we can keep each other accountable. Or at least check in with each other. Doesn't have to be hardcore accountability, not like that.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll kind of wrap up. If you need to go ahead. If you have some questions, I'll hang around. I got another 5 or 10 minutes. Sonnet, you asked a question about the lending platform. It's in early dialogue, but I don't think there's anything solid. If there's one thing you learn about Brent Gove, he gets real excited. So the minute he hears something might happen, he runs around talking about it. I'd say 7 out of 10 times it comes to fruition, but also Brent's a little early sometimes on some things, but Yeah, I don't know anymore. I don't know if Andrew's heard anything on that, but I think it's going to be a big platform. Right now, the big pushes are obviously global and commercial. Many of you guys know that. If you don't know about commercial, you should definitely get in EXP and Workplace and Google a little bit or search a little bit inside of Workplace and learn about commercial. Commercial's in about half the states right now. Global's got 2 more countries to open this month, and you're going to hear a lot more of that coming next year as well. So I think lending will probably be a 2021 later initiative, if you ask me.
I will say on one of those, the last link there with Brent Gove on that page, they actually do a little session on both commercial and international, like from the sprints a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
So they share that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I will tell you guys, I mean, Kevin and I were on a Zoom with the guy Shashank, who's running India recently. We've had a couple conversations with folks in South Africa recently. I mean, I say that so you guys know that if you step back and just think, who do you know that has international and global connections, you will be surprised. And it's not always direct contacts. It's, well, that person knows so-and-so, I'm going to contact them. So it kind of comes down to Brent's list of like, who are influential people that you know that might have global contacts. Maybe you personally don't have them, but just stepping back and thinking about that is a pretty big opportunity. I know, Andrew, you've got stuff going on in Mexico right now. Sonnet, you might have some stuff going on that I don't even know about, but I know there's a lot of global conversations already happening inside of our group as well. So pretty exciting stuff.
Yep, definitely.
Thanks, fellas, for your time.
Yeah, no problem. All right,
Thank
guys.
you, everyone, for being here.
You know how to reach us. We'll get back to you on what we're going to do with this recording. So we'll do something with it, at least get it into your guys' hands. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you all soon, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye, guys.